Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to the Next Best Games, where I go through my games after my top 100 because I really want to talk about more than just my top 100 games and tell you about great games. Today we're doing 140 to 121, and as we go higher on the list, these games just get better and better. So number 140 is Scythe. Now honestly, I really think Scythe has a chance of cracking my top 100 this year. I played it with just a Win Gambit recently after making this list, and every time I play Scythe I'm thinking, man, I really like this game. Man, this game is fantastic. Maybe it should be in my top 100 because it really is that entertaining with this. It's a great Euro game with these really cool miniature mechs, and there's a little bit of fighting in it, but it's mostly just about utilizing your actions and trying to be efficient, but it's so asymmetrical in how you have everything put together. Really, really like it. 139 is the Battle of the Five Armies. Now this game, I think I like it better. Well, I know I like it better than War of the Ring. War of the Rings is big, grandiose scaled game, which is Lord of the Rings in a box. Battle of the Five Armies is just that one battle at the end of the Hobbit book, but it works really well. It's a two-player game essentially, and the bad guys start out pretty strong, but as the time goes by, the good guys get stronger and stronger, and there's just all different miniatures. It has a really cool combat system. Definitely one I like. Number 138 is a game that's out of print and hard to find, and that's Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit. Now, there's a lot of people who dislike Star Wars Episode 1 for whatever reasons, but this game does a good job at taking that and bringing the final battle scene into life. You know, you have the battle on Naboo, you have the Queen, the battle in the palace, you have the lightsaber duel, you have Anakin flying the ship. All this is happening simultaneously on a huge three-dimensional board in a really cool setting. Very highly recommended. Number 137 is Baseball Highlights 2030. Now, Baseball Highlights is a fun game anyway. Baseball Highlights, I love baseball as a sport, but this is a deck-building game. Works well with two players, although tournaments of this game are a lot of fun. And essentially, it's kind of like War, almost. You're playing baseball, but it's War. The game's really fast, but you're trying to build your deck and make your next season better. And that's where the game gets interesting, because a game is really quick, but then you're like, all right, we're going to play another game, but this time I have some better players. Really great game. Number 136 is a new one to the list. That's Assault of the Giants. Really enjoy this game, in which you are the different giants in Dungeons and Dragons fighting each other over land, and whatever your goals are. And they have a few humans in there just to keep you intent that these are giants, and these humans are giant killers, and you're trying to send them after the other people. And you have a big giant and smaller giants, and it's a beautiful looking game. Each giant has a very distinct track that they're following, a different thing that they're trying to get done. Fire giants different than storm giants, different than hill giants. Really like the game a lot. Assault of the Giants. Number 135 is another new game. It's an abstract style game. This is Glux. Glux is a game in which it's area control mixed with tile placement. So you're placing tiles on a board, and if you place like a 3, your next tile has to be 3 away from that one. And so you're trying to think as you place these tiles, the tiles are two-sided. So I have a 1-6, 3-4, 5-2. If I place them on the smaller side, they're not as powerful when controlling an area, but they also allow me to get more tiles next to them. And it just looks cool too. Highly recommend it, Glux. Number 134 is a game I just love, Welcome to the Dungeon, or Welcome Back to the Dungeon. Both are fantastic. A push your luck game where you pick an adventurer. Everyone there, this adventurer has a bunch of equipment, and each turn you take away one of his equipment, or you add another monster to the dungeon, or you pass. Once you pass, you're out. The last person has to take the hero with whatever equipment they have left through the dungeon with as many monsters as you've added, and they have to make it through. You make it through 2 dungeons, you win, or if you take 2 hit points for failing to make it through, you're out. Really simple game, but really fun. Number 133, another new one, is Cottage Garden. Cottage Garden is a tile placement game in which you're placing tiles and filling up this garden and using cats to fill in the cracks. And it's like Tetris style. From Uwe Rosenberg, really like this one. It's very breezy, it's fun. I get these tiles, I'm sitting there like, oh, I put this here, put this here, put this there. Simple fun, really, really entertaining for me. But number 132, I like just slightly better, and that's Baron Park, another tile placement game from Phil Walker Harding, in which you place tiles and you're making a bear park, which I like the theme of having this, like bear preserve that people come through, look at the different bears and their habitats and such. And this one is just slightly more focused. Cottage Garden is kind of meandering and an easygoing game. Barren Park, you're just trying to focus and win. But both have that tile placement thing, which is something I like a lot. Number 131 is the Ultimate Warriors with a Z at the end. This is a bash 'em up type game where you have different warriors in an arena, from a big dragon to a tiny goblin. And they have a certain number of hit points, and you're trying to take everybody else out. The bigger ones are much easier to hit. The smaller ones are harder. You have a set of cards. It's kind of like King of Tokyo, but just the combat version. Highly recommend it. Ultimate Warriors. Number 130 is Firenze. Firenze is a tower building game, and I really like this one because it uses the concept of take these cards that are useful for you. But if you don't want to take a card, and sometimes cards aren't very good, you put a block on each card that you don't want. So you might take a card with a bunch of blocks and you're trying to build buildings of different colors and different heights. Just a lot of fun. After that, we have 129 is Dead Last. This one is a greatly fun party game for me. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but what I really like about Dead Last is it's like the game of Survivor on TV, but condensed down to 20 minutes as you sit there and negotiate who's out this round, who's out this round, who's out this round, who's out this round, who's out this round. So you come down to 2 people, and then they play that game back and forth where you're trying to figure out you're going to get all the money or some of the money or share the money. It would not work well in a longer game, but works really well here. Then we have Xenoshift. This is a deck building game. I really like it. I like both versions of it. There was a second one. In this game, it's like the movie Starship Troopers, where all these bugs are coming at you and you're shooting them. It's a cooperative deck building game. Really promotes teamwork. It's slightly too long for what it is. Fairly difficult, but I still like it a lot. That is Xenoshift. 127 has been on my list for years. That's Pillars of the Earth. Pillars of the Earth is a great game based on a very popular book. And it is not as long as the book, because that's good. The book's super long. But it's a game in which you're building a cathedral and you place workers in a very unique method, which I've not seen in any other game. And the good news is Pillars of the Earth is coming back in print soon. So you will all get a chance to try out this fantastic game. Also get the expansion. Ethnos is new to the list at 126. I really am enjoying this game. The artwork doesn't really do anything for me. It's very generic fantasy, and it's kind of area control, but the methodology of playing cards and or taking cards, and when you play a set, you have to lose the rest of the cards in your hand, and then how each race is very different, makes a really fun tactical / strategic game. Every game feels different. Really fun game. Number 125 is Bitter Up. Bitter Up is the board game version of Your Bluffing, which is a card game in which you are trying to pass off, trying to get animals from other people, but sometimes by giving them money, which is worth nothing. Fantastically fun. Bitter Up. And the board game version is even better. There's a little bit more going on, but it still comes down to that thing where I slide some cards to you and you have to decide, is he giving me good stuff or not? 124 is King of New York or King of Tokyo. I love these games. This is a bit of a drop. It was at 53 last year. Still a great game, right? I just found that I'm not playing these as much these days, but I'll still gladly bring it out. Someone wants to play King of Tokyo, King of New York, boom, I'm right there. And they keep producing more monsters for these. Just a lot of fun. 123 is Yinch. This is an abstract game, which I really enjoy. It's a beautifully designed game from the Gift series, and you have to get 5 in a row of white or black, and you do that by moving pieces on the board, jumping over pieces, flipping them to the other side. There's a lot of cool concepts. The better you do at the game, the harder it is for you to win. Just a great combo, Yinch. 122, Ave Caesar, a racing game. This was in my top 100 till this year. Downforce knocked it down a little bit, but I still like Ave Caesar. This whole game where you're racing around the board, you have a deck of cards, you play cards, but you block other people. It is a mean racing game, and yet it just is fun. And you got to do 3 laps around the board. It's an older game. I wish that it was reprinted actually, but I guess you can play Downforce for now. But I still gladly play this up to 6-player game. Ave Caesar. And last for today, number 121 is Bunny Kingdoms. Bunny Kingdoms is a really great drafting game from Richard Garfield, which and Yellow just came out, where you are drafting cards and placing bunnies on the board. You're placing bunnies on the board in such a way to get points by combinations of towers and resources. But the drafting part is so fun because there's so much good stuff. Every time you get cards that are worth lots of points, and you get cards that will help you, and everything looks good, and you pass it, everything looks good. I like games that give you hard, fun choices like that. Well, that's my 140 to 121. Next time, we talk about the top 20 games that just missed the cutoff. Oh, so much fun. So many great games. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Next Best Games.